I'm really excited. I'm not sure if anyone got to see the woman in the red boots. Well, now you're going to see her. So Jacquelyn's going to come up here. Again, the question, what makes you cool? She says first, I have made a product that is going to change virtual reality. I have made a color that can be controlled in an augmented reality space to actually produce scents. You can smell a VR world. You can smell it when you're inside it. So I think Jacquelyn's good. And by the way, did you walk here? Jacquelyn, you could walk here, right? You got dropped off because she's so close. She didn't deal with any of the traffic. She's here. So let's present to our next speaker. Jacquelyn, I don't have your last name on here. Jacquelyn? You don't have last name. I like it. Jacquelyn is here. Let's give it to her.
So this is working. Okay, everything seems to be working. Yes, my last name is Morie, as it says on the thing. But I'm not going to talk about the scent color today. So you can catch me afterwards to talk about that. I'm going to talk about virtual humans and avatars. Is this sound okay? It seems like, yeah, thanks. Okay, so this is a little bit of the agenda I'm going to talk about. At ICT, where I work, the Institute for Creative Technologies, we make virtual humans. We're also putting them into not only virtual reality applications, but virtual worlds. Yeah. So I'll talk about a couple ways that we have actually used virtual humans in the virtual worlds, and then a little bit about future work and talk about collaborations. So as I said, ICT makes virtual humans. We make them for all kinds of applications. We have them where you can negotiate with them. We have them for cultural understanding. Typically they're life-size, and you can actually converse with them either through text or voice. We have quite a portfolio of virtual humans. As you can see here, this is most of them, although we've got a few new ones that haven't yet made it to this list. I'm going to show a little bit about two virtual human girl guides that we made for the Boston Museum of Science on an NSF grant. And these are guides that you can talk to, and they know a lot about the activities that are happening in the Connors Computer Place at the Museum of Science. And they also banter between themselves, and they have a little bit of a personal life they can talk about. So if we can play that video. And there should be sound. So she said hello. Can we get the sound? I think we're going for the sound. We still don't have sound. So I will say that we made these virtual humans in the light stage that Paul Debevec has at the Institute. We did a lot of work bringing in a model that people had voted on as being one that they thought was compelling. And then we recorded the voice.
Here at Computer Place, you can command a robot to do a Mars mission and program another one at Robot Park. You can remote control a robot soldier or figure out how robots climb walls. You can even make a robotic dog dance or use one to navigate a virtual world. And don't forget the one that remembers meeting you. What do you want to do first?
How do you understand what people are saying? We're virtual humans. We use speech recognition technology to identify your words and
use statistics to figure out the meaning of the words based on context. Once we know what you're talking about, we'll reply appropriately. The same way you ask a question or tell a story to your friends is the same way you can speak to us.
As long as we're speaking the same language, we can speak it naturally.
Like, you could ask, "Where's Robot Park?" Or, "Could you tell me where Robot Park is?" Both are looking for the same answer.
How did you get your names? Our namesakes are Ada Lovelace and Grace Hopper. Yeah, they may be old-fashioned names, but both are from the most modern computing women of their time. In the 1800s, Ada Lovelace predicted that computers would someday help us write music and create art. And in this past century, Grace Hopper created a type of computer program called a compiler, which helps people tell computers what to do.
It could be said that
Ada inspired Grace. Or that Grace did all the work, in which case our names are perfect.
Do you have boyfriends?
Why? Is there another virtual human you think we should meet? I hope they're into neural networks and amino acid sequences. Grace, what's wrong with just charming and generous?
So you can see they have different personalities.
Okay, that's all. Goodbye.
Thanks for coming by. Have a great time with all the exhibits at Computer Place.
So these have been running since December of last year at the Computer Place, so they've interacted with thousands of kids, and they're very big when you come in. They're life-size, they're in a kiosk, and it sort of stops everybody in their tracks. So that's an example of the virtual humans that we're doing out in the world. Now, another area that we're looking at, whoops, so that's back. Is there no laser pointer on here? This chart shows the usage of virtual worlds. Virtual worlds, as opposed to virtual reality, are persistent spaces that are typically inhabited by a lot of people at the same time. So they're not these sort of one-off things that are used for specific purposes. And as you can see from this chart, which is probably hard to read, but go to the K0 site and really, really look at it. The quadrants are age groups. So the first quadrant is ages 5 to 10. And all of those red dots are virtual worlds built just for that age group. And then the next one is ages 10 to 15. And then the next is 15 to 25. So you can see all of the virtual worlds that are coming up for young kids. Now, the last quadrant is age 25 to death, I guess. And there are very few there, but there are some, like Second Life and Blue Mars and a few others that are used by all ages, shall we say. Now, the purpose of putting this slide up is to say that we are raising a whole generation of kids who are going to expect things to be delivered through virtual worlds. This is going to be a standard thing. Like, we are really good at the web. They're going to be good at acting and finding information in 3D immersive environments. So, as I said, they are persistent, networked, and you inhabit them with an avatar, typically an avatar that you've designed and chosen. So it's a virtual representation of yourself that you can actually find some bond with and get connected to. We are primarily social creatures, and virtual worlds are primarily social. And the point I want to make here is that social immersion is a very special kind of immersion that humans are well adapted to. It's the kind of immersion that we respond most to. So virtual environments, virtual reality, that tends to be a spatial immersion. But when you get people in the mix, then you're bringing in this social immersion. So a little bit more about avatars. A lot of the virtual worlds that have avatars, these avatars are a key attractor for the people that go there, because it's a way for you to present a face in an environment that is exactly what you want to present. So it doesn't matter what you're like in the real world. If you want to put out what's inside you, then an avatar is a way to do that. And people become very, very identified with their avatars. And other social networks that we have, like Facebook and LinkedIn, and those do not provide this means for embodied self-expression. So now I want to talk about a little project that we've been working on for a year or so at the ICT, and that's called Coming Home. This is a project that happens in the virtual world that is designed to provide veterans coming back from the wars a way to gently get help for the mental health issues that they're having. So we have this big problem that people coming back don't go after mental health help. It could be because they're in rural areas. Most of the vets do live in rural areas, so they don't have access. There's a stigma attached to getting that help. They may not even know they need help because it takes 6 months for many of these issues to manifest. So even those that go don't complete their treatment. And virtual worlds can address these things in many ways. They have anonymity and peer support, and we can put activities in the virtual world that can help them. So Coming Home built a space, and it's a very relaxing space. It has a lodge. It has access to different websites that have